I've suffered from imposter syndrome my entire life. I've always felt like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't talented enough, and I've been afraid that the musicians on stage would think I was a fraud. I've always really doubted myself. And sometimes something happens in life which crystallizes all of these fears in one moment and makes you reimagine who you are and see yourself in an entirely different light. And for me, that moment occurred in November of 2022. I was playing in Nashville for less than a year. And that first year in Nashville was not easy, to say the least. I struggled quite a bit with execution, self-doubt. Every gig was like white knuckle, hang on to your life territory for me. And I was thinking that maybe this music thing isn't for me. During this time, I got called to do this Elvis impersonator gig. I was gonna fly out to the East Coast, play one show, fly back. So I get these Elvis charts the day before I have to go out of town on another gig in Cincinnati. And I have that book of charts with me that I'm going to need for the next week for the Elvis show. I'm going over that in the green room of this other gig, which was in a hotel. Now, I play this gig in Cincinnati, I drive home, and that next morning on a Sunday, I unpack all my gear and I look and I think, oh my God, I left the materials for this Elvis gig all the way in Cincinnati in a hotel. And that was the only book too. That was the only book of Elvis charts. And I have to fly out of town on a Thursday, all prepared to do this gig. And it had all these handwritten notes. Oh my God, I'm just getting stressed thinking about it. I called up this hotel in a tizzy and frantically asking them if they found it. And lo and behold, they did. Whew. Thank goodness. And so I gave them my credit card information. I begged and pleaded for them to send it overnight to me. And they said, we'll take care of that, no problem. So in the meantime, I just dive deep into Elvis. I listened to as many different Elvis recordings, as many different songs, as many different versions, live in studio as I can, and really get inside of it, because I have to be prepared. I also don't want to tell these people on this gig, hey, I know I'm just subbing for you, but I lost your book of charts. Tuesday rolls around and the book of charts hasn't showed up. I call up the hotel, I'm like, hey, did you guys send out those charts? They're like, oh yeah, we sent them to the wrong people. So we don't know where they're at now. Yeah, this was pretty much my reaction. I just went, Long story short, I had a lot of thoughts. I thought I'd take an easy way out. I thought of saying, hey, sorry, I tested for COVID last minute, I can't do the gig. And just kind of backing out and not going right into the belly of the beast. But something within me just said, like, no, that's not what you do. You find a way to make this happen. Don't make excuses, just make it happen. I go to the gig without the book of charts. I find a Dropbox folder with charts from the guitarist that I can use. They don't have nearly the notes or anything, and it's really just a fly by the seat of your pants kind of gig. This impersonator just like rattles, boom, 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 tunes off like that, and you have to know.
You know what it is, yeah.
Fortunately, I knew this because I studied this artist. I went and watched so many of their YouTube videos from various shows to figure out how they go. It's really like I am sitting in the drum chair in the eye of a hurricane. And everything's swirling around me and I'm trying to stay within myself and trying to stay on top of it. Somewhere in the middle of the show, he decides to take like a sudden detour with like this not even Elvis songs. He decides to start doing original songs. And then he does some Jerry Lee Lewis songs. And just like boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? But I'm just like, just keep it moving, just do what you do. Somewhere after one of those songs, he stops. He's like, I'd like to take a minute here, folks. And I'm just like, oh, no, what's coming next? And he pointed out me and saying, this is his first show with us. And the audience laughed. They thought he was joking. He was like, no, I'm serious. This is his first show with us. And I'm just throwing stuff at him that he's never heard before. They didn't even know that I lost the book. And he said something to the effect of, this is why we called those boys from Nashville, because they are the best of the best. They always come prepared. And maybe I'm imagining this differently. I'm gonna go back through my archives and find this. I think I have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you all a secret tonight. I want to tell you all a secret tonight. You would not know it if I did not tell you. But Aaron back here is his first time playing with us.
It is.
You would not know that. He's doing a fantastic job. And this is what, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is something about Nashville musicians. It's a cream of the crop. I'll tell you, these guys can play and we throw it. We didn't rehearse some of those songs. We just want to do it. And I hope you all can appreciate the talent.
Thank you so much. For me, that was the moment I became a Nashville drummer. Up until that moment, I'd been telling people that I'm from Chicago. I just kind of moved to Nashville, but I'm a Chicago guy. And that moment filled me with an immense amount of pride, because saying that you're one of the Nashville boys, you are associated with excellence, with being legit, with being the best of the best, the real deal. That's everything that I felt that I wasn't. And that's everything I thought I was going to expose as not that. And somebody taking the time to point out, maybe they saw something that I didn't see, but that was one of the rare moments in my musical career when I said, oh, okay, yeah, I'm all right. You know, that moment crystallized a lot of things for me. It made me see myself in a different light, that, oh, people actually think I'm good, I actually do belong here. I didn't give myself credit for finding a way to get the job done. I dove deep into that material that week. My map to that material had gone out the window. That was unfortunate, but I thought to myself, well, I still have to play this gig. How am I going to do that? I'm just going to study as many different maps as possible and be ready for anything. And that moment really made me proud. And that moment really shifted my mindset towards, oh, maybe I am okay at this. Maybe I do belong. And I still think about that moment very fondly. It's probably one of the highlights of my musical career. Not necessarily because it was on this huge stage or anything, but because it was like, there was a moment where adversity really came up to me and I did not back down. I said, no, I want to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm not going to give up. Nothing changed. I didn't all of a sudden develop new skills. It just changed the way I saw myself, and it changed the way I felt about myself. And it kind of felt like I was starting a new chapter. It was, oh, somebody pointing out something to me and I rose to the occasion. It made me realize, oh, okay, maybe I can look at myself a little bit differently. Sometimes we look at ourselves in this warped way where we think we're not good enough. I don't think that's always bad because it pushes us to try to be better. But sometimes that can also hold us back and make us fearful. And sometimes you just gotta go into a situation and say, I belong here. I never said that, but having somebody else say that I belonged there really meant a lot to me and started a new chapter for me. Maybe take some time with yourself, take account of yourself. Maybe ask somebody else. Maybe you don't see it, I don't know. But I think all of us suffer from imposter syndrome in some way, and sometimes it takes an objective set of outside eyes to see you in a different light and say, oh no, this is you actually. And sometimes you don't see that until somebody else points it out to you. So that was my story about imposter syndrome and the day I became a Nashville drummer. If you like stories like this, if you find that they're helpful, interesting, insightful, shoot me a comment. You know, like, subscribe, follow. I'm just cranking out this material, hoping that it helps other people realize that maybe they do belong. Until next time, thanks for watching.